0 in 3 rounds back in 1970, and George getting that big, now having problems getting through the ropes. And you see the rankings. George now being recognized. 4th by the WBC, number 10 by the IBF, and number 7 by the WBA. George Foreman at the age of 42 against Ken LaCousta. We are ready for the introductions, and let's go to our ring announcer, James Mancis.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main.
大家好，老师从业中医男科30余年，帮助了数千名海内外华人朋友通过中药调理重回男性雄风。如果你也存在房事时间短、勃起无力、硬度差、中途疲软、肾虚、前列腺炎等问题，现在就加中医老师微信574-993-200，纯中药，一人一方，治根治本，帮助你持续坚挺20至40分钟，补肾壮阳，延时助勃，彻底告别快男软男。记住微信574-993-200。
His opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks. He weighed in at 261.5 pounds. From Houston, Texas, with a professional record of 67 wins, 2 defeats, with 63 knockouts. Here is the former heavyweight champion of the world, the Punch-In Preacher, Big George Foreman. This fight will consist of 10 rounds in the heavyweight division.
And they will wait
gentlemen,
for George.
I want a good clean fight. In case of a knockdown, we'll go the furthest neutral corner. When I say break, I want you to step back, and I want you to break clean. Is that clear? Keep your guard up at all times. Shake hands. Thank you.
Could be tough for referee Don Smart, the smaller referee, working a heavyweight fight. And with George, it's a super heavyweight fight. After 10 years out of the ring, he came back at the age of 39. Now 42 years old. 3 years in the comeback. He has accomplished what he set out to do. He's had little resistance so far from the opposition he has handpicked, but for the most part, the cynicism, the sarcasm is gone from the critics, and Foreman's name is now part of the heavyweight championship picture. And tonight he is facing an opponent that George, when he was coming back, would, and right off the bat, LaCousta wobbled at 6'1" and 216. This is the typical opponent George Foreman would picture in his comeback, and the kind of opponent he fought essentially earlier in the comeback.
Well, this is the kind of opponents that Foreman must face. He must face the Joe Frazier type opponents, the fighters who come at him right now. LaCousta trying to get Foreman into the later rounds, but he needs those fighters that are shorter than he is and the kind that run after him to throw punches. All George wants to do is sit back and throw those big, sweeping, slow, heavy-handed punches. What he does not want to face is the Muhammad Ali's of the world. The current Muhammad Ali's, the Tim Witherspoons, the Buster Douglases, somebody big heavyweight with a good left jab.
George Foreman, as we had talked about before, Sean, at this point, right on the threshold of having a fight with Tyson or Holyfield or Douglas. Most fighters in that position would wait around for the fight, would not even step in the ring, although if George loses this fight, it would be one of the major surprises.
Don't hold his head.
But he's looking for a workout right now, wants to keep active, and also helps him as far as his weight is concerned. Even though he's at 261.5, one of the highest in his comeback, feels if he wasn't working out and fighting, he could balloon 280, 290, 300 pounds. George now working the jab, and LaCousta is on the run. George, who started his comeback 3 years ago, weighing 325 pounds. This is a guy who, in his prime, weighed 217.5 in the championship victory over Frazier, and 220 pounds against Ali. But he is very happy using weight as his advantage now. He says he is never fast, never will be. May as well go bigger is better. And he comes in at 261.5. He's been down to around 250 in some of his earlier comeback fights.
And he didn't like it down that low. He wants to be a big heavyweight. Heavy. And he is. The reason he's fighting so much is for those after-fight parties, the post-fight cheeseburgers that he gets to eat. If he didn't fight, he wouldn't be able to have those.
Closing seconds of round number 1. And that was one of the active first rounds.
Charlie Shipes whispering instructions in his ear. Shipes, a former world welterweight champion.
George Foreman, who started this comeback, it's a big joke to many. He's getting about $25,000 a fight, more exhibitions and sideshows. They made $1.5 million against Cooney.
Now here's where Foreman is turning up the heat.
Yep.
Lacusta came out and he tried to get the control of this fight. Right here is where George is dangerous. Right now, a back elbow for George. And he gets a warning for it.
Don Smart standing up to George Foreman, who over the ages has learned every trick in the book. He uses those big arms, 19-inch biceps.
Don't hold his head.
And Lacusta now gets a warning.
Break, come back.
Lacusta sparred with Mike Tyson for the Buster Douglas Tokyo fight. He has faced the likes of Trevor Berbick and Frank Bruno and Michael Dokes and Razor Ruddock. He went the distance with Berbick, stopped by the other 3. He has actually faced better fighters than George has during George's comeback.
The light heavyweight.
Oh, there's George turning it on in the corner. Lacusta holding.
Right now, Ken is trying to use his light heavyweight speed, trying to move around Foreman. But it's just a matter of time. Target practice for George. Turned up the intensity this round.
We have seen a couple of George Foremans in the comeback. Early where he would coast and just pick his spots, one-shot punches. And then, for instance, in the Cooney fight, where it really picked up the intensity and the combinations, and he has picked it up early in this one. Again, overmatched situation against Ken Lacusta, 35-year-old out of Edmonton.
Right now, Al, George is having trouble finding the mark.
Let's go.
He's a little bit off in this fight. Not able to hit the button. He should have Lacusta out of there. Lacusta right now has his mouth wide open. Easier to knock a fighter out with that mouth wide like that.
Foreman comes in figuring for Lacusta, saying if you want to win, you can't run, you have to fight. Most opponents that size disadvantage against Foreman figure they may be able to move and stay away. But eventually, Foreman has found everybody.
Everybody is right. Right now, he's going to the body of Lacusta. You heard him with a left shot over there.
But Lacusta so far surviving the first 6 minutes. George Foreman returning to Canada. Last time here, April of 1975 in Toronto, when he faced 5 opponents in one night in an exhibition. It's taken 13 years before Canada is ready for George Foreman again. Going to the body of Ken Lacusta. Matter of fact, that exhibition, and there goes Lacusta here in the third.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Struggling to get to his feet.
He's not going to get up.
8, 9, you okay?
He made it.
You all right?
And the
Shaking
crowd
his head.
cheers the effort of Lacusta. Getting up. Oh, big lead by Lacusta off the knockdown. Streaks up Foreman. Foreman walked right into it. And the crowd going wild. Foreman now will intensify his effort. planted. And there goes LaCusta down for the second time. The crowd urging him to get up again. 3 knockdown rule in effect.
7, 8,
Will he make it?
9.
No! It is over. LaCusta goes out with a bang. And George Foreman could see all those dollars floating away as he takes a stunning shot from Ken LaCusta, but then comes on to take him out here in the 3rd round.
And George turned it up after he tasted that right hand from LaCusta. A sweeping right hand from Kenny LaCusta. Really the first